Hello and welcome to Scale Your Sales podcast. My next guest is one of the world's leading social selling and LinkedIn experts. He is author of the best-selling social selling book, The £1 Million LinkedIn Message, a hugely popular keynote speaker, LinkedIn trainer, and is founder of The Daily Sales, LinkedIn's most popular page for salespeople. So welcome to Scale Your Sales podcast, Daniel Disney.
Thank you so much for having me, Janice. I'm excited to be here chatting with you today.
Well, I'm excited for what's to come because I'm really interested. Have you always drawn as a kid? Because Daily Sales is really great memes and your doodles as well.
Yeah, I've always loved drawing. I'm no artist by any stretch, but when it comes to doodles and cartoons, I find it helps me kind of portray ideas. And I think every time I've sort of worked in sales, whether it was in customer meetings or in training sessions, I've always doodled notes to try and help it sort of stay in my mind and bring it to life a bit. So yeah, art's definitely been something close to my heart for many years.
Well, I think you are quite an artist. I mean, you know, your two boys, they must love your pictures, really. I do think you know, they're so good that you probably need to start thinking about doing children's books, really, as you know, because I think your drawings are really good. I can imagine you as a child in school, you know, teachers telling you to stop messing around, really, and drawing and things like that. And look at this, look where you are now.
I was going to say, one of those things you can't really dismiss too much. But, you know, I love it, and I draw all the time for my kids, and I encourage them to draw. They're quite artistic as well, hopefully for a little bit of my influence. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's good to bring the sort of visuals to life. And when I work with salespeople, I encourage them not always just to draw it, but take notes, to write notes, especially when you're with customers, when you're with prospects. It shows you're interested. It shows an effort. And adding things like drawing, even if it's drawing their logos, things like that, they're just extra things that can go quite a long way in sales.
Yeah, definitely. And anything you can do to help it stick in your mind is really good. So tell me more about the book I have just read. What inspired you to write the £1 Million LinkedIn Message?
The biggest inspiration was the amount of terrible sales pitch messages that I personally get in my LinkedIn inbox every day. And it's the same sort of complaint I hear from decision makers that I speak to, companies that I speak to. Probably their biggest bugbear is that their LinkedIn inbox is full every day with really terrible copy and paste sales pitchy type messages. And I've used LinkedIn for many years now successfully, and messaging can be used really well. It's just about crafting the right type of messages. So it was an opportunity to share one of my greatest successes through LinkedIn messaging, which was obviously the £1 million sale, but then to also sort of try and share some tried, tested and proven message templates that can be used more effectively, less about pitching products, more about starting conversations. So it was just to try and help salespeople use LinkedIn messaging better.
Yeah, it's become a real problem, and I'm not sure if you have a view on LinkedIn, how LinkedIn can kind of crack down on it. Literally, I'm like you, bombarded with really bad. You're almost scared to connect with the people now because you think, oh God, are they going to send me the next message? Is going to be a sales message. What do you think LinkedIn should do to kind of crack down on it?
You can see LinkedIn are already trying to crack down. So they're already working against a lot of the bots and automation systems that are either spam connecting or spam messaging. And I've seen a few people that have been using those systems some have received lifetime bans from LinkedIn because of it. So I think LinkedIn are trying hard to cut out those at sort of the obvious level. I'm hoping at some point over the next year or two, they'll introduce almost like a junk or a spam folder into your LinkedIn inbox where you can either flag an individual up or a company up that perhaps is messaging you as spam. So things like that I think will help, but they are trying. So hopefully it will become a little bit easier to manage.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think it's spoiling the not so much enjoyment but the use of LinkedIn, really, and it's putting people off. It's become, epidemic really now, hasn't it?
Well, it's almost like the sales virus that we, as an industry, we've ruined the phone, so people hate cold callers. We've ruined email because we're constantly sending spammy emails, and it's probably not going to be long if we're not careful that salespeople will end up ruining LinkedIn messages just by the wrong type of approach to sales.
It's really funny. I've got images in my mind where every time I talk to you, all your kind of like little doodles are, like the ones where you're kind of scared the phone's ringing, you're scared to pick up the phone, and you're scared to use your mobile. Who might that be? And we're all undercover and everything like that. So it's a horrible situation to be in because sales is all about communication.
It is, and a lot of salespeople are trying to help people with their products and services. There are a lot of genuine, authentic, ethical salespeople out there, and they're trying to use the phone, email, and LinkedIn to start conversations with people they believe they can help. And that is brilliant. That's what should happen. But because they're currently being dwarfed by not great salespeople that are, they've got high pressure targets and various reasons that then use the phone, email, and LinkedIn and other platforms to try and spam as many people as possible. And I think as an industry, in all areas, we need to try and fight against that. To hopefully, over time, win some trust back for the people we're trying to help.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we're talking about trust. Do you think B2B has shifted enough towards what buyers want and what customers want, being customer centric? What's your view?
Yeah, I mean, the buyers have more power now than they've ever had before, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Salespeople have to work a lot harder to win business. It's a much more competitive marketplace. The buyers have more information. Salespeople can't get away with a lot of the things that perhaps they used to, many years ago. So I think it's a great time. It's just important for salespeople who know the landscape that they're in now, accept that, and stop using tactics from 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago. Respect buyers and the knowledge they have, the power they have, the choice they have, and just use it to your advantage. There are so many opportunities at the moment for salespeople to sell effectively. You just need to be creative and sell in a modern way to the modern customer.
Right, absolutely. So let me ask you, how did you come up with the daily sales? What made you start it? Did you have a post that did really well from a drawing, and then that was the kind of what you leveraged, or how did it come about?
Yeah, so I started using LinkedIn 7-8 years ago, and I was consuming content as well as using it to sell. I was reading blogs and watching videos on YouTube, things like that. And I think the concept of the daily sales came from this fact that there was all this content, but it was everywhere. There were some blogs from different people and maybe videos over there, and it was all very scattered. And the sort of concept of the daily sales was to try and create a central platform, a page that salespeople could follow, and every day all the best possible content I could find would be on that channel. The sort of memes and the drawings that kind of came with it was, like you said, it was the first one I shared, had a huge response, great engagement, lots of likes and comments. People loved it. And I realized there was a big demand on LinkedIn for visual content, whether it was memes or doodles and humor. LinkedIn was and is a very serious platform, but people still want to have a bit of fun. We want to have fun at work, and sales, humor and sales works so well. So that sort of form of content certainly helped the growth speed up. But yeah, it was because it was so well received on there that I just tried to give people what they want ultimately.
Exactly, and that's the key thing, really. I really like what you say about humor and sales. I mean, I often encourage the salespeople I work with to actually be human. If you have a sense of humor, or you have, I'm into F1, and so my thing is I'm going to put an F1 picture in every one of my presentations all of this year, kind of thing, and tell people, just be yourself and be really quirky, because there's enough. It's an abundant world. There's enough people out there. There's going to be people that absolutely love you for your humor or your quirkiness, and it's the thing that makes you stand out. I mean, obviously, don't be humorous if you're not very funny. But you're going to stand out for the wrong reason.
It's a good point, though. People buy from people. We all know this. And
Yeah.
humor is a great way to show prospects and customers that you are a human being and not just a salesperson who just wants their money and is going to ignore them as soon as they've got the kind of commitment. Show that you're a human being, show that you care. Humor is a great way of cutting through those trust barriers, because so many salespeople are just pitching features and benefits, and actually by telling a joke or, observing something that's humorous that they might relate to, allows those trust barriers to come down, where you're not just trying to sell them something, but you're trying to build a relationship. And yeah, I mean, that's what sales is.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to ask you about blogs. I seem to remember, I don't know if you talking about posting blog articles on Pulse, the LinkedIn platform, but actually doing it in a way that you get more traction. So, perhaps you could share that with our listeners.
Yeah, I mean, blogs/articles are an amazing form of content on LinkedIn, have been since I started using it, and they still are to this day. I would say to a really close level, they are the best form of content next to videos on LinkedIn right now. They require a bit more time to put together, no more than an hour, I'd suggest, but you give so much value in a blog. It's a great chance to tell great stories, to give great insights, and because you're giving so much, you're able to then generate more interest and sort of inbound traffic back to you. My sort of top tips that I tend to suggest when writing blogs and articles on LinkedIn: make sure your title's engaging. I've seen some great blogs in form of content, but the titles were so bland, and you need to get people to click. That's the first challenge: get them to open up your blog and start reading it. So you need to have that good title and a nice strong image that people are going to look at it and think, yep, I want to read that. Then you just want to take them on a nice journey, write it in a nice, engaging way. Most people would have seen on LinkedIn the spaces between the sentences and paragraphs. It's the same in a blog. Break it up. People are scrolling. Make it easy for them to read, and you'll drive a lot more engagement, and you'll sort of take more people to the end of the blog. Try and mix it up with some media, whether it's an image or a quote or a definition or external articles. You want it to be an enjoyable reading experience where they're getting value. And then the final important bit at the end is have a call to action and about you. It's your chance to say, this article was written by Dan. This is what he does. This is how he helps people. This is where you can find some more information. If you're interested, here's how you can get in touch with him, because you've given so much more than you can ever give in a photo, video, or a sort of an update on LinkedIn. You've given so much more. You have the opportunity to ask for a little bit back, or at least give them the option of how they could potentially get in touch with you.
That's interesting, because I've also heard kind of other experts say, don't do a call to action. They've read it, they know what you do. That's kind of salesy, that you don't need to do that if they're going to look you up and they're going to contact you if they want to take it further. So it's interesting to get a variety of views. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that.
I guess it's the difference probably between marketing and sales. I'm a salesperson. I'm out there trying to create opportunities, and I know from consuming content, if there isn't a call to action, I see this a lot, not many people will go through. You'd have to really spark an extreme level of interest, even just to get them to click like or to comment on it. You need to have really, given a lot to get that. But just by writing, if you enjoyed this, please click like and click share, increases the amounts of likes and shares you get on it, because you're encouraging it. And if you ask in the right way, it's not salesy, it's not aggressive. It's just simply, I hope you've enjoyed this blog. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is how I help people. If you think I might be able to help you, here's how you can get in touch with me. It's not, give me a call now, this is what I sell, that kind of stuff. This is how I help people. If you think I might be able to help you, here's how you can reach me. I'm over here if and when you need me, not let's talk right now.
Yeah. Okay, so what practical tips, and I know you've already given us quite a few, would you offer that has enabled buyers to buy or has built a long-term relationship?
So social's kind of my big thing, and LinkedIn's where I see a lot of big opportunities. And when it comes to building long-term relationships, to retention, to making buyers feel confident in you, probably one of the biggest tips I can give is consistency. build your personal brand consistently on LinkedIn. Be present, share your journey. I always like the kind of analogy of you're almost opening your curtains to let people in, let them see you. Don't just constantly put up these posters about your product and your business, but share your journey, build strong relationships. I find it amazing thinking back to when I worked in sales 10, 15 years ago. You would do the typical 6-month phone call of, oh, hi, John, how's everything going? How's the product? And anything else you want to buy? That kind of conversation. Whereas with sort of LinkedIn and social, you can maintain those relationships on a daily basis. You can engage in their content when they share it, regularly. They can engage in your content. You can talk via social, and then you're not having those awkward 6-month conversations because you're almost talking on a regular basis. So my biggest tip is be present. If you can, try and be on LinkedIn Monday to Friday, at least once a day. Post something, engage in a few posts, be there. You'd be surprised the impact that can have on growing your personal brand, your business brand, generating opportunities, and building and maintaining long-standing relationships with customers.
Okay, that's great advice. So how do you see the balance between business pages on LinkedIn and your personal page?
I think both are important. I'm very much a fan of company pages. They have a lot of potential, but the bigger potential sits within the personal pages. I did a training session last week, and the marketing department literally shut down their company page because they realized how much potential sat within the individual personal pages. Now, I'd never suggest that. It wasn't an idea I gave. It was their sort of reaction to it. But company pages are good. I think it's good to have a strong company page and share good content of value that builds credibility in the industry. Some company pages generate tens of thousands followers, but they're giving value, they're giving good content, not just advertising their products, but talking about the industry that they sell into. That can then be amplified by all of the staff, or as many staff as possible, using their personal profiles to do the same thing. Give value, be relevant, be centered in that industry. And it just creates this sort of unified, strong social brand presence. So yeah, both for me. Use your company page wisely, and then empower your staff to use their personal profiles. The companies that do that, I'm sure you see them, they do amazing stuff on LinkedIn and other social networks. If you can get that kind of joint approach, that's the winning formula.
Yeah, brilliant. So who's Uncle Al?
I'm glad you asked. Someone very, very, very close to my heart. He was my inspiration into sales. When I was a kid and sort of growing up, he was my sort of male role model. My parents divorced when I was relatively young, and he had a real strong place in my life. And he was a salesperson through and through, worked in sales kind of all his life. But he installed a lot of ethical selling and positive sort of mindset and all the things that I'm really passionate about in sales. And unfortunately, he passed away about 5 years ago, kind of really unfortunately, before I've been able to have this sort of journey I'm on now, which I would have nothing more than I would have loved to see him, see the things that I'm doing now, the book and all this wonderful stuff. So he, for me, is someone I think about every day, and the sort of guiding star, I guess, in everything I do. He helped me become a good salesperson, and all I think I'm trying to do is help others do the same. So yeah, he was, is, and will always be, one of my biggest inspirations.
Well, I'm sure he's looking down and very proud that you're passing his on. But at the time when he was doing it, all the things that you've said about him, it seems that he was quite unique in that what he focused on was really giving value. So that must have been quite unusual at the time when he was doing sales. What do you think it was about him that he kind of brought it, made it his own?
Yeah, I think you are right. Obviously, it was a lot stranger back then, and social definitely didn't exist, back then at all. I think he realized that the key to success in sales was to really focus on helping people, building strong relationships. He wasn't a product seller, he was a solution seller, and he just loved people. He loved to help. He loved to, even if it wasn't by selling something, he would always listen, and, those sort of things helped him massively in his sales career. And yeah, even though it wasn't as common as it perhaps is now back then, you look at a lot of the successful people that did sell back then, those were the things they were doing. And it's no different now than it was then. It's just, unfortunately, there was just so many more people selling in the wrong way, which we're slowly getting away from. So
yeah. Well, you know, he's passed it on to you, and you're passing it on to others as well. So, you know, if you're on a desert island on your own, what's the one thing you would take with you?
It's a good question. Actually, funny, it's going to go right back to the first question. It probably would be a pen and some paper. I live by writing, drawing. It's just, you know, it's my way of putting thoughts, ideas. Just so much you can do with a pen and a pad. I think if I was stuck on a desert island, that would keep me occupied for a short amount of time. I could write help and then hold it up and, you know.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. So tell our listeners how they can get hold of you.
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. Please come and connect, follow my profile, Daniel Disney. And if you want any more information, my website, www.danieldisney.net, or thedailysales.net, if you want to come and check out the content we're sharing on there. As I said, I'm here to help anyone who feels I can help them. But Janice, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've been a huge fan of yours for years. I'm excited to see you at the Sales Innovation Expo next month. But this has been really, really good. I hope the listeners have enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed chatting with you today.
So thank you for being a guest on Scale Your Sales podcast.
Thank you.
Bye, Daniel.